People decide whether they're going to listen to you or not before you even open your mouth. I have seen some of the absolute best talks get completely ignored and obliterated, no attention, because of what happened within the very first 10 seconds. And the person who's giving the talk doesn't even recognize that this is the thing that happened. This video is going to help you understand that exact one thing and how using that one thing to your own advantage completely shifts the energy of the audience before you even open your mouth. Listen, before the next time you are slated to be in front of an audience, pay attention to what you do before you open your mouth. Before you even enter that room, within the first 10 seconds of entering the room, of actually meeting the audience, what is it that you are doing? Pay attention to yourself. Are you making eye contact? Are you smiling and giving off energy that is warm to whoever you actually make that eye contact with? Are you engaging the audience and listening before you even open your mouth for where are these people, both energetically and what time of day it is and what kind of things are people buzzing about? What are they talking about and coming into the room excited to connect with? Maybe they're not even excited to connect about something, right? Can you read that energy correctly? Do you rush to fill the silence of those first 10 seconds? Whatever is happening, I want you to pay attention, because the audience in that moment, within the first 10 seconds, that's them actually deciding, does this person deserve my attention? Is this person confident enough in what they're talking about for me to give them what I have right now? Or am I just going to sit back and disengage? It is your opportunity to help this audience, to win them over by shifting this one thing that we don't pay enough attention to. 90% of how we communicate is nonverbal. Let that sink in. 90% of how you communicate with other human beings has nothing to do with the words that are coming out of your mouth. Before you even open your mouth, people have already decided whether or not they are going to listen, whether or not they are going to do the thing that you invite them to do, whether or not they are in a position to be swayed by what it is that you have to say, right? Lebo is somebody who knows this so well. She is a world-renowned South African poet, and she is a sought-after speaker and keynote on stages around the world. And one of the things that I have noticed about how Lebo actually occupies spaces when she is speaking is she is so hyper-focused on the present moment. And it's not just about being hyper-present moment-focused. She's also somebody who takes up space when she is on stage. Before she even opens her mouth to recite a poem, and usually it is a poem that is spoken with so much electricity and power and calling people into the moment. But what I have seen her do in real time is she creates that space, kind of like an aura around herself, both on stage and definitely something that she does digitally as well. I watched her do this on the podcast. Before she speaks, she creates the space for those words to be able to take up space and to be able to land with whoever needs those words the most. How does she do this? It's in how she makes eye contact. It's in how she uses silence. It's in how she is not afraid to create micro moments of maybe even awkwardness with the audience, like boiling up that anticipation for them, where they are so like now kind of almost a little bit nervous and almost a little bit anxious of what comes next, because we know something amazing is going to happen, right? But she's not rushing to fill that moment of silence with whatever the next is. She is a master of using her body and the space around her and the audience itself to begin communicating before anything is ever said. One of the things that I invite you to consider is how you take up space, both when you're on stage, but especially in the moments when you're actually not on stage. Maybe it's a Zoom meeting and you are about to pitch something to your entire team that you care a lot about. How are you showing up to that moment? Are you making jokes that are here to kind of deflect from how much you care about this thing before you even get to the moment of actually getting to the meat and potatoes? Are you smiling as soon as you make eye contact with people as they're coming into either the Zoom or if it's a live audience, as those people are gathering and taking their seats? I want you to become aware of your body and the extent to which you may be fidgeting, the extent to which your nervousness may be showing up in your body, and you're so in your head, you're forgetting your hands are doing this the whole time, right? How can you become so presently focused like Lebo and so completely aware that you are communicating with this audience in the first 10 seconds before anything has even been spoken, that the power that is in your mind and the emissions that you are giving are letting this audience know, pay attention. Listen to what is about to come next. Feel the silence and maybe even whatever awkwardness energy might emit from the silence, but actually lean into it. Get curious, not get intimidated like she's intimidated on stage and she's not going to present something that I want to pay attention to. How do you cultivate that? Like that. I'm a Sex and the City fan. The thing that happens when Miranda goes in to her graduate school, she's re-enrolling at Columbia. She walks into this audience, a classroom, and she is in a very mixed New York City classroom, right? There's kids from every single walk of life. Miranda's got gray hair. She walks in. She's an older white woman. She finds her seat, but she's already babbling before she's even sat down. She's so excited to be there that her energy is giving this, oh my God, like she's literally overperforming every single thing. She makes comments about where the professor's supposed to sit when the professor actually comes in, and the stakes just keep getting weirder and more awkward. She says things that she doesn't mean. She looks at her feet. She tries to look around for support through eye contact with any of the other students, but everybody is like, no girl, we're not in on this with you. And the whole time you can just feel that this train ride is gonna get worse and worse. And literally the train ride actually does get worse. After class, you then see her on the platform and the professor who she's trying to brownie up to and to be all chummy with avoids her, like takes a nosedive of like, okay, I'm just gonna exit this conversation and quietly put myself in a different car, right? Miranda does this classic thing of not understanding not only the power of silence, but also the power of the energy that we bring into a room. She is excited and she wants to convey this excitement, but the way that she does it is flustered energy, is kind of trying to bring people into a thought stream that she's having mid-sentence without any of the context. She doesn't give any of the beat or the stillness that happens in the first 10 seconds to actually gather herself. There's nothing that is gathered about Miranda in those first 10 seconds, and the interaction and the communication and how she speaks to this audience that is the classroom only escalates from that moment into something you don't want to happen. Like she basically is not ever able to salvage that moment back. So how would you salvage that moment back? Here's something beautiful I learned years ago when I was in New York and I was getting ready for a high stakes audience with a panel that was judging me for whether or not I would get this fellowship that essentially paid my entire way through NYU. I mean, the stakes couldn't have been higher. I'm in this room and we are all waiting to be called to stand in front of our particular panel, right? It's a panel of about 4 people who ask you questions and expect you to come across as naturally as possible. And essentially they're interrogating, are you the right candidate for this particular fellowship? And as we're waiting in the waiting room is this huge, kind of like an open auditorium. There's this young woman that I'm particularly really gelling with. We're having a wonderful conversation. She tells me that she's about to go to a different school, she's applied to multiple places. She also shares a little bit about the work that she's done previously. And if you know anything about me, I'm so curious about human beings. So I have all the questions for her. I want to know, where exactly is it that you were living before here? And oh, you were in management? What did you learn about that? I have so many questions. And this woman taught me something that has been a game changer for me since that moment. She said to me, Mahokodi, it has been so beautiful meeting you, but I'm about to go into the panel, the judging panel. And before I go in, I just need a moment to myself to gather myself. And then I watched her take about 10 to 15 minutes to sit in complete silence and to prepare for herself for who she would be and how she would walk into that room. So that by the time she walked in and opened her mouth, everything that would come out of her mouth would come from a place of intention and clarity and presence. I learned that day, oh, this is how you win. You begin preparing yourself for how you communicate before you even walk in the room, but not the way that we typically think, oh, what are all my talking points? Oh, let me get somebody to run me through the drill, right? All of the interview questions. But how do you center and still and gather yourself, particularly for those first 10 seconds that are all the communication that is non-verbal and that often pre-assigns everything that happens afterwards and anything else that you say with your mouth after. To say that that moment was a complete game changer for me is the understatement of the century. The takeaway for you here is, before you walk into a room where the stakes are really high and where you're going to be speaking to an audience you care about, think about not just what you're going to say, but those 10 seconds before you even open your mouth. How are you going to communicate? And the way that you do that is still yourself. Can you ground yourself? Can you breathe? Can you get rid of the fidgeties and the nervousness and the 100 million questions that you want to ask at the speed that you want to talk with? Can you just find core before you walk in, so that when you actually do walk in, those first 10 seconds communicate clearly and confidently that this woman is about business. She owns this moment. She understands the power of her presence. And whatever it is that is coming out of her mouth next, I am so locked in. I want to know what she has to say. That is how you use those 90% of how we communicate that is completely non-verbal, and especially those first 10 seconds when you first walk into a room. Every single audience decides how they're going to interact with you before your first sentence. I want you to make sure that you're the one helping them and driving that decision, and that you're not stuck in something like Miranda, where the rest of the conversation and the talk is basically trying to pull yourself into good graces because those first 10 seconds went so skew. Instead, take a cue from Lebo Mashile. Understand that the most powerful ways that we communicate aren't even verbal, and help your audience decide to tune in, to lock in by how you use those first 10 seconds before any words ever escape your mouth. This is Madam Speaker Says. I am Makhokhodi, and I'd like to know in comments, do you agree that 90% of how we communicate with other human beings is completely nonverbal? Is this something that you've experienced yourself? Where have you ever experienced it? Let me know in the comments. I'm so excited to see you here next time, and I want to thank you so much for showing up this time.